Okay, so I've got this cool little pot that I made. It's basically a deep fryer. I bought it at Walmart. I've put in an end right here. Probably can't see it, but it's a ball joint that allows the wax. So this is my wax melter. It does great if I just want to do, 8 or 10 pounds of candles. So for today, we're just going to do a small batch. So if I can find my knife, I'm just going to add wax to it. I always fill it up, because you never know. I don't like to run out, so I just keep it full. So we're using the IGI 6006 soy paraffin mix. And actually, to tell you the truth, we use straight soy for a long time. And actually, I like this mix better. It's still considered, pure and soy, but there's not much paraffin. But what the paraffin, the little bit that's in there, what it does do for us is it allows our wax to hold the colors better, throw the fragrance better, and so all in all, I like it much better. So I know my customers will. They've already commented on how much better, the throw is. So basically, I just chop these things up, and I put it in here and just let it melt down. So I'm going to put this stuff here away, turn this on just a little bit. So I'm just going to let that warm up, and I'm going to go. I'll be right back, and we're going to start putting the wicks in the jars. Okay, so we're going to start putting some of our wicks in these jars. So we're going to be using the 4-ounce jelly jar. We use a 4-ounce jelly jar, an 8-ounce jelly jar, and then I use a 16-ounce jelly jar. As 3 of our stock sizes that we use on a everyday basis. So so we're going to be doing a few of each. So I'm just going to be taking some of these 4-ounce jelly jars out. I'm going to add some wicks to them. I don't know how many I'm going to need, but I'll just take the rest out of the box here. Now we also sell these. We sell these by the case on our website. So you can buy them by the each, or you can buy them by the case. This is how they'll come. So while I'm doing this, these wicks that I'm going to put in here in the 4-ounce. I use the same wick on the 4-ounce and on the 8-ounce. It's a cotton core 443218 that we're going to use on these 4-ounce and the 8-ounce. And actually on the 8-ounce jars, it flows perfectly on there, but the 4-ounce, it's a little hot on the 4-ounce, but all in all, it's not bad. So I'm afraid that if I size down one wick, then it doesn't burn as well. So I don't know. It's all choice. So it's kind of like I tried to size these jars up, and it just didn't work out real well. So one thing you always want to really keep on hand with you is some alcohol, because you're gonna need it. You're gonna use it. One thing, if these jars are dirty, things tend to not want to stick on them. So stick in there. So I'll just go through it, wipe them out real quick. You get some alcohol on a paper towel, it goes pretty quick. So while we're waiting for our wax to melt there, I kind of keep that on so it's fairly slow. We don't need it to be melting really fast. One thing you do not want to do, you do not want this wax in here over like 190, 195. People don't realize, but wax is a bomb. It will explode. You know, people will make candles at home and they'll get it on their kitchen. You know, they'll do it on the stove and they don't keep an eye on the temperature. It'll get too hot and it'll blow up on the stove and they get burned. And so I just want to let everybody know, you know, always wear your safety gear. Keep an eye on your temperatures. Don't let them get too hot. Keep an eye on the flash points on your fragrance oils. You know, so you just definitely don't want things, you know, getting too hot. The flash point on our Cabernet fragrance oil is 200, but I don't even let our wax get to 200. 175 for me on the wax is enough. I add the fragrance oils at about 125, 130. You know, I can add it warmer, but there's just no reason. So how I set these, oops, did I move you? So how I set these wicks is just like this. So I take the wick, I just add some hot glue to it. Hopefully you guys can see, and I just put it right in the middle. Put it right in the middle. So these are our little 4 ounce. We gotta let them dry. We gotta cut the wicks. But so basically, easy way to do it. Make sure you get the hot, you know, the hot wax. So the high temp wax, because the oil does get hot. So I'll show you my trick for doing these 8 ounce. I made this little stick right here, and I kind of do the same thing. I just put wax on the end here. Hope you guys can see. I put that in the jar down in the bottom, and I just kind of tamp it down with this stick. But because I cut that, since I've cut the center out of there, I'm able to set that stick right over the top of the wick. I can get a good, you know, even pressure of it down. I like to put enough glue that the glue also, you know, runs out around the side of, you know, you can see it on the bottom there, and it runs out on the side of the jar. So my glue gun just came unplugged. So again, we're gonna. So those wicks are a cotton core 44, 32, 18. I use those for a 4 ounce in our 8 ounce jelly jars. So for the 16 ounce canning jar, I use a 51, 36, 18 for this one. So this is what this wick looks like. You know, it's the same length. I get them pre-tabbed. I'm actually going to be selling these also on our website, cwapothecary.com. But so these are pre-tabbed. They're ready to go. I just don't find it cost effective to stand here and put all these tabs on. For the cost of the wicks, it's just easier to buy them pre-tabbed. So again, we just do the same thing here on this size. I use put it down there in the middle of the jar, use my stick. Can you guys see? I think so. And I squish it down in there. So I'm only going to do a couple 16 ounce here. So I like to put more together than what I'm going to use, because I don't like to run out of jars either when you've got a whole bunch of wax. So I do a bunch of these up, and then if I have leftovers, then I just have leftovers for next time. Anyways, I'm going to get these all done, and I'll bring it back. So while we're still working on these jars and these wicks, this is ultimately what they're going to look like. So I glue them in there. I just use a stick. You know, you can buy the pieces of metal. We do lots of them. I just use a stick. It's a little bit bigger than a toothpick. It's what we use to make our candy bar bouquets with. But I'm just going to go through here and cut, you know, some of the length of these wicks off. When you get pre-tabbed wicks, you know, they're all the same length. So sometimes they're going to be a little bit longer. Sometimes they're going to be a little shorter. But so I'm just going to cut these off. We don't need all that length. You'll need all that length on there. Okay, so you know, our 8-ounce, I cut about an inch of that off those 8-ounce. You know, it's kind of it's a little bit too long also, so you know, again, take an inch of it off. It works. Our big ones, you know, it's perfect, you know, out of there. So so this is my very professional way of winding the stick. So I wind the wick around the stick just like that. I tighten it up, and there you have it. So it just allows me to move it after we pour the wax. It won't stay there very well, where I think the metal tabs, they actually do stay a little bit better, but I don't know. I've always used these. Call me old school, whatever, old ways, but I've always used them. I like to be able to tighten up the sticks on them. So I'm going to go through here and add sticks to all these. So here's, I'll show you the 4-ounce. So I just do the same thing with the stick, you know, whatever you need. You just don't want the wick. You want the wick to be straight up through the center of the handle, and you want to, you know, after you pour the wax, you want to be able to manipulate it a little bit. So, you know, get whatever you need, whatever works. I found these to work because we have lots of sticks for candy bar bouquets, so it works for me. In fact, I don't think I've cut any more. We keep them all in a container, and so I think I've been good with that. So I'm going to get these finished, get them set up. We're going to get this wax to melt down, and then I'll be back. Hey guys, hey, it's Robert from CW Apothecary. We're going to be doing some of our candles today from clearwatercandle.com. So I just wanted to show you a few things we're going to do, and then I'll reset the camera. So today I'm going to be making our Cabernet, Cabernet flavored candles. We also do the Cabernet in soap. So we'll also do Cabernet in a butter. We just haven't gotten them yet, but we made our Cabernet soap. We put it on YouTube here a couple weeks ago. It's been very nice, been a good seller. We're also going to be using kind of old school chips for the wax. So we're going to do cranberry, burgundy, and black. I'm going to show you how I'll put those chips in. You know, we sell these for, you know, 10 of them for $1.50 or so. Not on the site. Sometimes you can get them for $1. We do different pricing. So we're going to be using one of our regular containers for pouring wax. We're going to do 3 pounds of wax, 4 ounces of the Cabernet fragrance oil in them. We're going to be using the IGI 6006 wax that I'll be putting in my container. I'll show you that in a bit. I'll tell you about the wicks that we're going to be adding. So we're going to do 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 16 ounce, and some of our clamshells here. So you know, all these you can buy, you know, on our site cwapothecary.com. So as we get to this, I'm going to restation the camera here and get to where you can see a little bit better. I'm going to start adding the wicks to the containers. I'm going to add some wax to our to my new little wax melter that I actually made. I've made a couple of these. They work really well. So I'll get right to it and get back with you. Okay, so we're getting back to this. I got my clamshell containers ready. I got my 4 ounce, my 8 ounce, my 16 ounce jars ready. So basically the wax right here is not ready. This is the IGI 6006. It's a kind of a new formulation in the last year. It's great. It's 60% soy, 30% paraffin or something like that, right in those areas. It's great. I like it much better than the pure soy. This is not melting down enough, so I'm just going to turn this up. This was basically just a deep fryer that I bought it at Walmart. I've got some 1/2-inch nipples I glued on the ends right here, so I have a 1/2-inch ball valve here to let the wax out. You'll see when we start to pour. So I just got to get this wax to melt down, get to around 175. So again, I told you you'll always keep your alcohol handy. So I'm just going to wipe out our container right here. Get it ready to go. Need to keep you guys a good scale. So so the scale's ready. I use a really good thermometer. These are the ones that they use in the coffee stands. They actually get the temperature really quick for you. I have these for doing my soap, but I don't use it. It says it's 124. I don't know why. I might use a little bit more today, see what happens with it. But we do need to get that to melt down. So, meanwhile, we are going to be using 3 chips of cranberry, 1 chip of burgundy, and 1 chip of black to do our coloring. I like to use anywhere between 1 and 2 chips per pound, you know, so 1 to 1.5 per pound. But these are our chips. So anyways, I always kind of, to speed up the process of the chips, you know, melting, if you just put them in there like that, they don't melt real fast. So I want the process to go a little faster. So I basically take and I'll just shred these chips up in the bottom. So when the wax goes in there, it's got less to melt by volume. So I just cut them in little pieces. To me, it seems like it's faster. If I keep them in a big piece like this, I learned that, you know, before you pour them in the jars, you might not have some melted down. And even still at that, some of the harder ones, you know, there would be a little piece here and a little piece there after you pour it. So here I'm just cutting these into smaller pieces. So this is going to be 3 pounds of wax that we're going to put in here with these 5 chips. And I'm going to use 4 ounces of the fragrance oil. And I do have a process of kind of how many jars that those make, but you know, for me, we need more of the 4 ounce. So I'll probably do 1 16 ounce and maybe 2 of the 8 ounce and maybe 2 of our melts, and the rest are going to go into 4 ounce jars. I have an 8 ounce that's sold, so I was short on one, so we're going to do a couple extra of those, and then we're going to just kind of go on to the next flavor. So right now, again, we're going to be doing cranberry, or I mean my Cabernet soy candles, 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 16 ounce. If you guys like the video, want to keep me going, just make sure you like and subscribe and hit that little bell button. We do videos now all the time on all of our, we'll be doing them on all of our candles. We do them on all of our soaps. You know, we do them on flowers. Everything is on cwapothecary.com, where we're actually putting the videos on all the pages. So anyways, we will be back as soon as this wax is ready. I'll come back and we'll get this done. Okay guys, so we're back. So we are ready to go. Our wax here is 197. I just tested it with this thermometer. It's 195. So, you know, we're pretty good there. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if you can see all this. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. I'm going to, we have to be able to weigh this. So I'm going to set the things to this 2 pounds and ounces. I'm going to tare it because we're going to put 3 pounds of wax in here and 4 ounces of fragrance. So just so I like to put a box down there because my ball valve does leak a little bit. So okay, that's torn. So what we're gonna do, you guys can't hardly see this, I don't think, but I add some of the hot wax in here, and then I just stir it. I just swirl it around, just basically to get those chips melted in there, so you can see. Put it up in the light, you can see, you swirl it around if any of the chips are still in there. I like to use it at this point because if it's really hot and really concentrated, it breaks it down. So, and I'll put a little bit more in there. I'll kind of do the same thing. I'll see if I can see any chips floating around there. Weigh it out, we're 1.9. I love this color of Cabernet too. 2.9. 214, almost there. £3 pounds. Okay, so what I do basically is I'm just going to let this stay in there. We won't need to scale now until, you know, this cools just a little bit. Says it's 185. So we're going to let this cool down. I want it to cool down to, you know, 135 before we add our Cabernet fragrance. Shortly right around there. Well, I'll show you when this, so this, the IGI wax that we're now using, it sets up a little faster than just the pure soy that we were using. You know, we used to add our fragrance down at 105, 110, but this likes to set up at about 125. It's kind of weird. So I do notice that I don't normally add my fragrance that hot, but I have to add it to this hotter. It's got a flash point of 200, so it's not a big deal. But I just think that, you know, if I can add the fragrance with it being a little bit cooler than hotter, the fragrance doesn't burn off and stays with our candles longer. We've never had a complaint from anybody wanting, saying our candles don't burn all the way to the bottom and don't have fragrance all the way. So again, it's kind of a personal preference, but I'll show you what happens when you're stirring this as it starts to cool down. When it starts to get to a point where it's going to start setting up, you can feel it get thicker. And at that point, you better have your fragrance in and get ready to pour because it's setting up hard. But I will come back when we add the fragrance, and we'll see you in a sec. Okay, as I was telling you, so you can You can see now where that's starting to thicken up a little bit. It's cooling down. It's 158. So I'm going to go ahead and add our fragrance to it. I'm going to add 4 ounces of the Cabernet fragrance. So put it back on the scale. Basically, I just tore it. Tared it. Anyway, so here's our Cabernet fragrance. Had a brain fart there for a minute. I didn't know what I was pouring. Okay, so there's 4 ounces of our Cabernet fragrance in there. Now, because that's already cold, it's going to cool this down just a little bit. So, can't remember what fragrance what it said it was, but it's 149. It cooled it down 4 or 5 degrees. So I'm just going to stir it. I love that Cabernet fragrance, and I love the color. I don't know if you can see it really well, but I love burgundy anyway. Burgundy is my favorite color. So it is starting to, thicken up. Basically, when it thickens up, it's because it's setting. You can also see that when you're stirring it, it's not as clear. So I am going to get ready to pour these. Roll up my sleeves a little bit here. I'm going to have to turn the camera around, so I'll be right back. Okay, here comes the messy part. So I don't know if you can see, or you can see the bubbles. It's gotten a little bit thicker, so virtually there's a small line that I pour to right there in each one of these. So I know that I need poured too much in that one. Oh well. So right now I'm pouring what I know that I need for orders. And then I'll pour some extra. I don't need any of the 16-ounce candles. I need more of the more of our 8-ounce and 4-ounce. See how fast? I don't know if you can see how fast that it's setting up in these jars, but. Give me 6 of those 4-ounce. Looks like I might have about. I need 8-ounce in those ones, so. Oh, let's see. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? 1, 2, 3. I think I'm just going to add one more. One more 4-ounce. And one more. Okay, pretty much that's it. So didn't really have any rhyme or reason as to how many I was going to do. I just kind of needed to get them done and get them poured. So now I'm going to just get this cleaned up, and we'll get ready for the next one. So this is where the mess kind of comes in. I was telling you, you need to always keep your alcohol. So we can just, if you let that wax set up in these containers, you got to get it out of there, quick. Because if you let it set up, see how it's kind of set up in that area right there? If you let it set up, it gets to be really difficult to get out. So one thing that I have noticed with this, this IJ 6006, it does stick better to the walls of the containers, even the glass containers, but it's harder to clean the containers. I mean, you got to kind of clean the containers while it's hot. So now that we have it clean, we're going to go and start prepping our next flavor, which is going to be lavender. So stay tuned, we'll get the lavender done. Okay guys, it's Robert from CW Apothecary and Clearwater Candle. So we're back. We've let our candles set up overnight. We're going to show you the process of getting them ready for shipping and for retail. So we have our 4 ounce and our 8 ounce that are ready, and of course our 6-piece tarts. So I'm going to L'Oreal. I'll show you what we do to get them ready to ship and to move on. So virtually, I just cut these sticks out of there. I like the wicks to be, 1/4 inch. I don't know if people know, but you should always prime a candle before when you light it. And priming candles basically is you light the wick, you let it burn until you get a small puddle, around it, a few minutes, and then you blow it out and you let it cool and you light it again. That's priming a candle. So on some of these, they get little imperfections just at night with setting. You can see some of the bubbles on the top and the hole. For some reason, the soy, when it dries, it compresses and you get that. So basically we just use a heat gun, we heat them down, just makes it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. So let me see. So I just use the heat gun. I just go around the top, just enough to level that top out. It'll pop bubbles. It makes it flat, fixes the imperfections that are in there. It doesn't take a lot. The 8 ounce candles, it takes a little bit more. The 16 ounce candles usually get a bigger hole. Why, I don't know. It always happens right around the wick. When I used the other soy, we didn't get this as bad. We did get it, but we didn't get it as bad. So again, it doesn't hurt the process. It's just a little bit more aesthetically pleasing for the candle to be flat. It's a little bit more of a finished product. So for our retail side and for shipping, we want to make it look good. So you got to watch that heat too around the plastic. It will melt that plastic real fast in our tarts. So the clamshells, I don't know, I call them tarts, people call them clamshell. They're a clamshell mold, but I call them tarts. I don't know why. Always have. So anyway, you see we're just melting these down. It fills in that gap. These ones had a few more bubbles on the top than the other ones, probably just because I mixed it up right as I poured it. You gotta watch when you use this heat gun too, because it's hot. It'll actually put a brown spot, a little burn spot on the wick. So I just go around the rim. It just helps the liquid flows around, flattens it off. See that wick smoking a little? It's because the wick got a little hot, but it's okay. So I just like to apply the heat evenly, you know, to the tops. And that's it. So we'll let these sit here and set up again. I probably have to come back and hit these 8-ounce a little bit more. But so what we do from here is, I'll show you what we do in our mold. We've got to label them and get them ready to sell, ship, retail, whatever. So all of our 6-piece, they hang on a display. In fact, if you go to the website under displays, you'll see the displays that we build, that we hang these on. We sell the displays retail too, for retail stores. They don't have a place to put them. So here's our label. So we only label, you know, we label them just before they go out. So we label, you know, just one of everything. So there's a label. When it's hanging on our display, it hangs like that so people can see it. I like them to see the color. You know, they can open them easily and smell them. So that is our clamshell, or 6-piece clamshell. These are 2.75 ounces for the people that don't know. So these ones there are ready to store and ship. So also what we do is our 4-ounce, 8-ounce, and 16-ounce candles. We put these stamped lids. It's a pewter stamped lid. This lid fits our 4, 8, and our 16-ounce candles. We call them our Clearwater, our Country Collection. Every flavor that we've ever done in candles, we make in the Country Collection. If we like it or not, we always do one. So I'm just going to take this one right here. Seems to be done. Put the lids on. And we put a label on it, because we label one of every size. So when we store it over there. It's ready to ship. Oop, that label messed up a little bit. So I can fix it. Yep, there we go. So there it is, labeled. It's our 4-ounce jelly jar. So it's ready to go. We will get the rest of them done and labeled. We have to ship this 8-ounce, so we got to let them kind of mellow out a little bit more, and we'll be done. So again, if you like our videos, please hit the like and share button. Please hit the bell. I will continue to do more videos with everything that we do. And you can go to cwapothecary.com if you want to register on the site for updates and what we do. Thank you.